From the Middle is a founding member of Odd Pods Media. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to episode number 283 of From the Middle. We are three middle-class guys living in the middle of America, in the middle chapters of our lives, with points of view somewhere in the middle. We're not a political podcast, but we have a ton of fun talking about all kinds of things like culture, entertainment, and funny happenings in our life. As an example, Kory has a truck story. I have a Taco Bell Jesus and Starbucks story. We're talking a little bit about updating our basements. We play a Rotten Tomatoes game based on some Christmas movie favorites and chat a little bit about what we're streaming at the end. We hope you'll love this episode. We're going to take a few weeks off after this one. So have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you next year. Next year. I think
Leave that in. Leave that in. That's great.
I think in my head, that's where I was going. Thanks.
Oh, for the love. Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole. I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it? You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved.
From the Middle after dark over here. I got my mic back, guys. Turns
Yay.
out,
Oh, good.
I just had to blow in the little holes, like a SNES cartridge.
So that is really how you sound then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Speaking of blowing on things.
right.
Speaking of blowing on things, we just hooked our N64 up in our basement.
Oh, wow.
And as we were switching between games to retest some old games, I literally had to use the blow on the cartridge trick, and it worked exactly like you remembered it working. Fuzzy digital screen, not playing, off on, didn't work, pull it out, right down the cartridge, back in, back on, boom, work like a charm.
Do you remember Seth Green's is it Seth Green? Seth?
This is the Tom Green show.
No, Robot
Seth Green
Chicken.
is Seth Green.
Robot
Yeah,
Chicken.
Yeah, that's Seth Green, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So there's the claymation stuff, right? There's an episode of that, I think, where two game cartridges are talking to each other, and he's like, "Hey man, loosen one of your pins, I promise." And he's like, "Why? Why would I do that?" And he's like, "Trust me." And then the next scene is a guy blowing on him, and he's like, "Ah!" It's so wrong, but it works every time. Works every time.
It works every time. I once saw something that was like the science behind blowing on the cartridge and what's really going on there.
Is it just dust on the terminals?
Well, that I don't remember. I'm pretty sure the conclusion was the blowing didn't actually most of the time do anything, but the
Moisture?
physical ejection and reinserting does fix it. You didn't need the blowing, but
Oh my god!
Let's get out of slots and holes.
What's important is you just don't press buttons. That's what matters.
Yeah.
There's different techniques.
Let's see what generative AI says. Blowing on a game cartridge is often perceived as a way to fix a game that isn't working, but in reality, the act of blowing itself doesn't actually do much. The real reason it sometimes appears to work is because the act of removing and reinserting the cartridge can realign the connection pins, allowing for better contact with the console, and not because of the air itself. Exactly what Kendall just said. Most experts advise against blowing into cartridges, as it can actually damage the delicate contacts over time.
I don't need a computer to rain on my parade. All right.
Well, both the computer and I, in this case, that's what I did.
I was trying to let you off the hook.
I wasn't having it.
So speaking of things not working, I have a funny story from this past week. So you guys know I bought a beat up old truck. I got a 95 Chevy Silverado C1500. And So when we purchased the truck from its second only ever owners, they said, hey, just so you know, the gas gauge does not work. And we've looked into it. It's too expensive, too costly to repair it. So just reset your tachometer every time you fill up, and know that when you're hovering around 300 miles an hour, 300 miles on that trip, on is it the tachometer or the odometer? Whatever.
Odometer, but that's
odometer.
Okay.
Yeah. The trip meter. When you're right around 300, you're about ready for a fill up. So I'm out running errands the other day, and I'm on a 3-lane. Do you say how many lanes there are total, or how many lanes are in your direction? 6-lane highway.
Okay.
in that case. And there's a truck in the lane that I'm in parked under a green light. And so they just probably were looking down and not paying attention. So to kind of like be a little sassy and make my point, I punch it as I go around them on the left side. As soon as I do that, the truck starts going, and I'm like, oh no. So I'm like, is my transmission starting to go? Or like, do I need transmission fluid or something? And it's only on accelerating that it's doing this. It's like sputtery. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? This has never happened before. I look down at the odometer and I'm like around 280, 290. So I'm like, I'm not anywhere near my normal signal to fill up. This is really weird. I somehow make it to Home Depot, get lumber for a project I'm doing at the house. And as I'm rolling into my town, it does it again, and then it just the whole truck just dies. I'm across from a Tim Hortons. I pull into an apartment complex. The car's dead. When it hits me, I've been warming up the truck so much because it's winter.
Mm-hmm.
It's using gas, but those aren't counting towards any miles
Right.
on the odometer. And that was my little punishment for being sassy as I passed around that truck who wasn't paying attention. But that's my adventures with Lizzo story for this week.
Not to mention the few extra gallons you burned being sassy, just revving that engine, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If you want another brain not working story, so the other day, Brie and I are in the drive-thru at Starbucks, and she says, it's a whole challenge for me to remember the drink order, even if it's not hard, because I'm just an idiot when it comes to ordering at Starbucks. We've discussed it before. She says, grande white chocolate peppermint mocha, hot. Great. It's early. My brain's not functioning. I am still sitting. I'm trying to remember the order. And in trying to remember the order, I was thinking about other drinks and things that I've ordered. Then I've forgotten her order. Then I think I know what the order is. Then in my effort to be helpful, because she does like to try new things, I said, I bet they could probably do a white chocolate mocha and even put peppermint in it if you really wanted. Which, as it turns out, is exactly what she had asked me to order about 90 seconds prior as we waited. And I got this look like, are you having like a seizure moment or a brain aneurysm? Or because I just told you just 90 seconds ago. And one of the dumber things I've done, not necessarily even just recently, was propose back theoretically what she could order, which was in fact what she had just ordered. And I didn't have much of an excuse other than it was early and I hadn't had my own coffee yet. So maybe try that next time you're with your spouse and propose a drink that they could order, which is what they ordered, in an effort to be helpful.
The only thing that throws me at Starbucks is sometimes I'll say the order in the way that makes sense to me, but then they correct me and say it in a different order. Same components, size, type of drink, and then any modifications. That's the order that makes sense in my head. And then they'll sometimes correct it. Sometimes it's a more truncated name for that drink. Oh, what you wanted was a grande white mocha peppermint or whatever. They'll just change the order of how they say it back.
Right.
And then every time I go back, I try to say it in the way that they said it, but I've been corrected on the way they said it before. I'm like, you people don't even know amongst yourselves how you want me to deliver the order to you.
Yeah. it's a real struggle, and it's sometimes it's like you just have to point at the thing so I can just focus my eyes on it while at the menu, staring at the menu, talking sideways to the board so I can read all the words that go alongside. And
Mhm.
I also have a brain fart when I get to the window and Bree will tell me the brown thing that goes around the cup because it's hot.
Mhm.
And my brain thinks of the movie Maid of Honor with Patrick Dempsey and they call it coffee collar. And so what pops in my head first is coffee collar, but no one calls it that because that's a 20-year-old movie. But in my head, that was catchy and it worked and it's stuck in there. And so I'm caught sitting at the window going, "Can I have the because I don't want to be the one to say coffee collar." So I'm trying to think of any other word that would the brown the thing that
Sleeve?
it's a
Sleeve?
sleeve.
Well,
It's just like
what we need to do is just be men and say coffee, black, no collar, let it burn my hands.
If it was for me, I would let it burn my hands. But I know my wife
yes,
would
you would.
my wife would like a coffee collar, so I have to think of the words. And sleeve is apparently too difficult. So there I am.
You know, you should be like, they probably make like a cardboard contraption that would go around the outside of your cup and keep your hands from getting scalded.
Somebody should really have thought of that already.
Yeah.
I bet I'll ask and see if they could come up with something that they could wrap around that coffee. I did have a better drive-through experience than the white chocolate peppermint mocha that they could probably put peppermint in. So Jesus was at Taco Bell today when I went to Taco Bell.
Yeah. I once saw a star over at Taco Bell and I wondered.
I get it. Yeah, that maybe that was this one, and it was from afar. You could see the
Mhm.
star
Yeah.
above the one in front of mine, and I'll share a picture because it was Jesus in a tiny, tiny little toy form in the drive-through window, staring at me right when I pulled up, and I had a giggle. It was a little joyful giggle at the little cartoony but not disrespectful toy version of Jesus. And it wasn't on the outside like somebody else had put it there. It was on the inside. So one of the employees had put it there. And when the kid opened the window, the little drive-through boy, that's the variant of little drummer boy, the little drive-through boy, I said, your little Jesus made me laugh. And he just goes, yeah, like that. And then he went to get my Baja Blast. So, just a fun little, the food was divinely inspired as usual. And Liv Moss. Amen. It's a great experience.
All wise men go to Taco Bell.
That's
That's
true.
right.
Well, they use the mobile app to get rewards, but then they go to Taco Bell. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh are overrated. So
Mhm.
Speaking of warmth and sustenance, while I was waiting on Sherry to come pick me up 2 miles from our house, she said, hopping off of a call, I'll be late to my next one. I'm on my way. I said the gas can should be half full. Optimist. In the shed. You can pick that up and bring it to me. She goes, okay, I'll let you know when I leave. I don't know, 5 minutes later. She's like, leaving now. And then I text back, so cold, getting tired, so very hungry, which got an eye roll emoji in response. I thought it was cute.
yeah. Did you bring a white chocolate peppermint mocha?
Right.
Yeah. With a coffee collar.
I need you to bring me a gas can and swing by Starbucks.
Yeah. So does the truck live to drive another day?
The truck's fine. It just needed gas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. No. So maybe during the cold winter months, bump it down to 260.
That's exactly what I deduced. I'm like, okay, I need to round down in the winter. I did not account for leaving it run for 10 minutes before hopping inside.
Yeah.
Kendall, what crazy adventures have transpired in your world?
Nothing that crazy. We're still working on the basement. Put up a giant TV this week.
Let's go.
What size?
Yeah.
How big?
Just
How big?
75. It's the biggest one in our home. Put up 75. I dusted off an old sound bar and subwoofer that used to be in our family room, and it's been living in the basement ever since I replaced it with better speakers in the family room. And I was going to hook it up, And then I was all sad because its only input is optical, and this TV does not offer such a thing. And I'm like, I don't have any adapters or boxes or anything. And what am I gonna do? Because I am very much like, once I get rolling on getting something done, I work to get the thing done, to the extent that like Amy was out and with Lydia, and I'm like, where are you guys going? Because depending on where you guys are going, I might try to find something for you to buy for me. And she's like, well, if you find something at Target, just I'll do a curbside pickup if they can get it. And so I'm looking at Target, and they don't have the HDMI extractor boxes or anything else that I would need to convert into optical or anything like that. I'm actually contemplating at this moment seeing what new sound bars are at that Target. But I'm like, that's stupid. And then it dawned on me, Bluetooth exists. Because while I'm looking at a lot of the things on Target's website, many of them are just flat out designed to be and only be Bluetooth connected, which kind of pissed me off, but also in this case saved the day. And so I'm like down there with the boys, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm checking. I didn't even remember that the soundbar had Bluetooth, and found out that the TV would send the Bluetooth. And I'm like, I think we're in business, boys. And they got that done. And so now it's just like little bits and pieces. I literally switched door hardware between two doors so that two doors that were next to each other would match, and those kinds of things. So I am super excited about our basement. We moved a full size refrigerator, freezer side by side that we got used into our basement as well.
Yes.
Which that is a story in and of itself. The way our house works, the door to the basement, directly across from it, about 3.5 feet, is another door to a closet. Right. So there's this little hallway that's about 4 feet ish wide that we have to figure out how to get, because you can't take anything long like a sofa down there. And so we tried about 6 different configurations of getting a full size, very heavy fridge into the basement. We end up taking about half the fridge apart, and even then just barely got it to fit in a very awkward manner. It was like scooting it up to the door and then pulling the bottom out from underneath it. And with the closet across the hall open so that the top could lean into the closet to come down. Took us a long time, but we got that fridge down there.
How long into that effort till somebody said pivot?
We did. Amy actually never watched Friends.
Oh.
So I try my Friends jokes every once in a while. Sometimes she probably wonders where that joke came from, or doesn't even realize that it was a joke. But yeah, so that's part of my life, is nobody understands my Friends jokes. But there was a point where she was 100% absolutely giving up on trying to get it down to the basement. And I'm like, we haven't tried everything, and we're going to try everything. And so we eventually got it down there. Got a bunch of sodas now because they're on sale. End of the sale was tonight at Kroger, and so stocked her up.
Nice.
And man, I'm so excited.
Isn't it? It's
So
a game
excited.
changer when your basement's finished and cozy and entertaining and full of snacks and drinks.
I mean, before it was like it was finished when we moved in.
Sure.
It was ugly, and then we had a flood, and then we had to have it fixed and then refinished. And so it's been, as far as like the finishing with the faux wood floor and the fresh paint on the walls, and a couple more walls to partition, and a couple more doors and things that were added years ago. But it's never really been for Amy and I. It's been to like throw the kids down there so that we don't have to step on their Lego. Like that's what it's been.
Yeah.
And like I go down there like once a month to change an air filter, and that's pretty much it. And
I'm
now
so
it's
proud
like,
of you, by the way, for just now saying Lego as the plural of Lego.
hey, I'm trying, man.
We've rubbed
Trying.
off on you.
You sure have.
This is awesome.
You sure? Yeah, that is gross. Okay.
I said
and-
growth. Did you hear growth or gross?
I heard gross because I was thinking gross. Anyway,
Growth. I was trying to give you credit. Growth.
oh, gotcha. Well, thank you.
Not like a foot growth. Like,
And he doesn't have a lisp. That was him being proud of you.
Yes, thank you.
I know Amy listens sometimes. And speaking of
Yeah.
Amy, was there any follow-up? I need to know if there was a follow-up from last week's story about the shattered glass. And has she listened to that episode?
Oh,
Did she agree with your assessment?
I
of the-
think she would agree with my assessment. Absolutely.
Okay.
I wasn't down there exactly when it happened, and so most of my information came from her. And we were actually on episode drop day on Wednesday, which is when she usually listens. She actually took the day off work, and she and I went couch shopping for our family room, and then we were moving the family room couch to the basement.
How are you going to do that without cutting a hole in the floor?
Well, so the reasoning behind that is the couch that we had in the family room is a modular situation.
Nice.
And so we knew that we could get that piece by piece downstairs. And so we went to like 6 different places to look for new family room couches. And the one that was in there was from Costco, a sectional from Costco. And after going to 6 different furniture stores, we decided to just order online the exact same couch again, but this time in leather, and put that in the family room.
Nice.
And put the old one downstairs. So
Modular
awesome.
couches for the win. We've got a temporary setup down there now, but I think that's what we're going to do. Pick which ones recline, pick which ones don't, pick which ones are just the connector corner ones, or they can all separate and be independent chairs. It's the way to go.
Yeah, it is. It really is. So we're very happy with the one, obviously, that we have, because we decided with other options to just buy it again. So I'll have pictures and stuff coming once some things are squared away down there.
Sweet. Well, we still need location for our Hot Ones shoot. So maybe we just hang out in your basement. There'll be plenty of drinks. Or a cold fridge or freezer to put our head inside of when our mouths and heads are on fire.
I still need to tap that and figure out how to get water to it for ice and door water.
Then you'll never want to leave. Is there a bathroom down there?
No, but there's a sink.
I almost spit blackberry moonshine.
When I was a kid, I grew up with a finished basement, and my family didn't know this at the time. But if I had to pee and I was down there by myself, I walked over to the sump pump and peed into the sump pump.
Heck yeah.
So
like a good Midwest boy should do.
Yeah.
Just going to say, this has been one of the more Midwest discussions we've had in a while.
Yeah.
Second fridge, downcycling furniture, peeing in the sub pump hole. Why not? Just or other things in the sink. Depends on what you need to do.
If you got a garbage disposal, go to town.
I'm trying to class things up with my blackberry moonshine, you guys. Can you please stop?
Search it up, dirt.
This feels like a great place to hear some words from some of the classier folks in Odd Pods Media, and we'll be back with you all with a fun little game in the back half of the episode.
If you like fun, then you're going to love the Beard Owl Podcast. It's a podcast where we talk about 2 of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al. And frankly, we talk more about Weird Al than anything because he's the gift that keeps on giving. So join us as we talk through Weird Al's career, what he means to us, and we have some very special guests on to discuss the magic that is Alfred Matthew Yankovic. Beard Al, part of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Greetings, fellow nerds. It's Garrett, your host of The Nodak Nerd, part of Odd Pods Media, the podcast where we explore the vast realms of geekdom. From the latest superhero flicks to retro video games and everything in between, we've got you covered. Join me for insightful reviews, hilarious discussions, and maybe even a few heated debates. Find the Nodak Nerd wherever you listen to podcasts. Let's get nerdy.
All right, folks. So this is going to be our last full episode before the Christmas and New Year's holiday. We might do a little short 3 to 5 minute Christmas thing and New Year's thing. But we're going to take a few weeks off and hope you enjoy the time with family. But we're going to play a little game that I saw some other podcasts have played online, especially ones that focus a lot on pop culture and entertainment. So in advance of this episode being recorded, I asked each of the guys to give me 3 Christmas movies. This does not have to be their favorite Christmas movies, just 3 Christmas movies without any duplicates. And what we're going to do is guess the Rotten Tomatoes score of these movies.
Wow.
So Dylan and Kendall, get out a piece of paper. And if you want to play along at home, get out a piece of paper or just do it on your phone. It doesn't matter. We're going to have 3 rounds of 3. And excuse me, sorry. And again, the object is to just simply guess the Rotten Tomatoes score of that movie. To clarify, we're going to go with the tomato meter score. That is the overall critic score, not what was formerly known as the audience score, now known as the popcorn meter score. So not the fan favorite award, just what the overall critic score for the movie is. Percentage,
And
1 to 100.
Oh, it's a percentage? Okay.
Yeah, 1 to 100.
You say tomato. How did you say that?
It's the tomato meter score, which is the critic score. We're not doing the audience score or the.
I say
popular
tomato
bit.
meter.
Yeah, tomato meter. Okay. In order of our logo, we're going to start with Dylan's first picked Christmas Vacation. Kendall's first pick was Violent Night. My first pick was Spirited. It's also possible you've not seen this movie. That's fine. Just go based on what you know about it. That's round 1. Christmas Vacation, Violent Night, and Spirited. Round 2, and you guys, you can come back for your scores. I'm just listing the movies right now. Okay. Round 2, Dylan's second movie, Muppet Christmas Carol. Kendall's second choice, Nightmare Before Christmas. And my second choice, White Christmas with Bing Crosby. That's round 2. And round 3, Dylan's third and final choice, Home Alone, Elf, and Red One, which is going to come up later because 2 out of 3 of us, I think, the third has not seen it. 2 out of 3 of us have just watched it, which was some of the inspiration for this little game. So now go back and write your scores 1 to 100%. What you think the critic score of these movies are. I have already put my score guesses in, and we will see who wins each round by being the closest. So, Christmas Vacation, Violent Night, Spirited, Muppet Christmas Carol, Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, White Christmas, Home Alone, Elf, and Red One. An instant holiday classic.
I feel like I'm at a handicap because I've never gone to Rotten Tomatoes for anything.
It might actually help you in this case because, wow, I really skewed in one direction on all my choices.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And remind me what the scoring for the tomato meter is or tomato meter.
It's just the overall critic score on
1 to 100.
Yeah, it's 1 to 100. Overall critic score. 100 being a perfect movie, 0 being absolute garbage.
You got my knee-jerk reactions. It's been so long since I've looked at Rotten Tomatoes for
This will be
scores.
fun then.
This is going to be great. I'm sure I'll be way off.
All right. Are we ready for at least round 1?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, Dylan, what do you think the Christmas Vacation tomato meter or tomato meter score is?
Critic score, I'm going to say 78.
Okay, Kendall?
I said 97.
Oof. I said 90. 71.
Wow.
So, Dylan, tell me yours again.
78.
I'm going to write these down. Kendall said
7.
97. So, Dylan wins that one. All right. Violent Night. Oh, by the way, it'll be fun if I tell you the popcorn meter score too. The
Yeah.
audience score of that one was 86.
Yeah, I would have guessed much higher for audience, but knowing these are all critics,
Yeah.
they're going to be a lot lower.
Okay. Violent Night. Critic score. Tomato meter score. Dylan.
I guess 61.
Kendall.
42.
Oof. I said 66. It was 74.
Really?
Wow.
Wow. Good job, Violent Night.
You
How
said
did Violent
71.
Night
Dylan?
out. How did the critics like Violent Night more than Christmas Vacation?
I said 61 on Violent Night.
Oh, wait. So who's closer there?
I think Kendall was higher, so it's probably Kendall.
No, I said 42.
What'd you say, Kory?
66. So I guess
You're-
I won now.
Yeah, you got that one.
All right. Let me circle these.
I'm impressed.
All
I
right.
mean, it's such a cheeky movie. Like, anyway.
That's probably why the critics liked it.
Spirited with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell came out a couple years
critics
ago.
love Ryan Reynolds.
They sure do. We'll see. Dylan, what do you think?
I put that at 67.
I
Kendall?
said 68.
This is a Prices Were Right. You
I
added
know.
$1.
I said 82. I said 82. All of mine are way too high. 70.
Kendall got.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kendall, so that round's a tie. We each got one that round.
I bid 500 and Kendall bid $501, Bob. That's what
Yeah.
just happened.
That on accident,
Yeah.
but that is
it
what
worked
happened.
out.
All right. How did you do, folks playing along at home? Good job.
I can't-
All right.
I can't-
Round 2. Muppet Christmas Carol. Dylan, go ahead.
74.
Kendall.
80.
I said 78. The critic score for Muppet Christmas Carol is 77.
Oh, wow.
That one goes to me by a point. You're just going to have to trust that I did mine in advance of actually pulling up each one on the website. All right. One of my personal favorites, for good for both Halloween and Christmas, but Kendall's choice in this round, Nightmare Before Christmas. Dylan, what do you say?
I put 81.
Kendall?
I did 97.
Kendall takes it. The critic score for Nightmare Before Christmas, 95.
Wow. You know, kudos to the critics because animated films, especially in older eras, not that it's that old, but like often don't get the credit they deserve. So good job, critics.
And one of only 2 in this whole list of 9 where the critic score is higher than the popcorn meter. The popcorn meter score for this one is 92. So just 3 points lower.
Tim Burton, the original edgelord, you know?
All right. I thought I'd throw an oldie but goodie in there. White Christmas. Dylan.
I'm way off, but I'm not going to change my answer even though I haven't heard yet. I originally put down 84.
Okay.
82.
I said 92 because I thought there's a critic bias for like classic,
Old.
for old
It's-
stuff.
There's 20 years old is a handicap, and then like 40, 50 years old is it goes back up in value, I think, in a critic's mind.
I agree. They gave this one a 76. So Kendall has 2 in this round with his 80.
Wow. I bobbed you in the other direction.
I know. All right. Round 3. So Kendall wins round 2. 1 round is a tie. Round 3. Wait, hold on. Middlers, how'd you do at home? Better luck next time. Okay.
It's kind of like Blue's Clues, only in our case, they didn't always do well.
Do you see the pyramid?
Good job.
Home Alone, Dylan.
73 is what I put originally.
Kendall.
75.
I put 94. I thought this is like such a classic. No, they gave it a 66, the critics.
Dylan.
Dylan takes that one. Popular vote on that one was 80.
Yeah, of course.
All right, Elf.
I did 71 because I had to put it below Home Alone. I felt like there was going to be some bias for Home Alone being a little older.
Yeah, I did 70. I had the same kind of thought, actually.
The second instance where critics went higher than the popular vote, critics said 86. I said 88.
Ooh.
Whoa.
And the audience score, the popcorn meter, was 79.
Interesting.
All right, this one is last on purpose because it's a perfect segue into what Dylan and I just watched. Red One, probably the biggest discrepancy here between critic score and popcorn meter. Dylan, what do you say?
I didn't feel like it was going to be like Sony Marvel Universe bad. So I went 58. I went above. Usually you see things getting really called like a whatever squish tomato in like the 40s and below. I felt like it wasn't going to be that low, but 58.
Kendall, what say you?
I did 50, so now I feel like mine's really low.
I said 76. The critics gave it a 30.
Oh my goodness.
And the popular vote was a 90.
Whoa.
A 60-point swing between the critics and the fans.
Wow.
It's called the popcorn meter. And if that dovetails into our review of Red One, it is a wonderful popcorn movie at Christmas time. Critics hate it. So Kendall wins the game with four correct. I got 3 correct. And Dylan 2. Let's forget rounds. And yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. I like
Yeah.
that game.
Thanks for that game. We'll have to do that more.
So yeah, I'd be curious, Dylan, what you thought of Red One, and then I'll give my review after.
Yeah.
I started it, by the way. I started it today.
Okay. Oh, awesome.
With the kids. I didn't
Awesome.
know anything about it. And I told the kids, hey, if I turn it off at some point, I turn it off at some point. Didn't turn it off. We just had to go. And so we didn't get very far. We got to the point where the Rock's character sees what I'm assuming is their depiction of what like the actual North Pole is in the city. A light going out.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know
And
right
so
where.
that's where we had to finish.
And he
now.
calls security to check it out.
He is on the phone with security right now.
Okay.
Or on his wrist with security right now.
Yeah. He's on his Apple Watch. If you don't know, it's on Prime. You can go on Prime and watch it right now.
Yeah, which I was surprised.
Yeah. So I thought it was still in theaters, honestly. I had like totally lost track of the movie.
I know someone who saw it in theaters like a week ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw it last week. Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally caught off guard. Review of the movie. It's spoiler free because maybe people haven't seen it yet. It's apparently very new in theaters. It's so stupid. It's good. And it's very, from my point of view, it's very aware of how stupid the premise is and it doesn't care. And I feel like Chris Evans' reactions are perfectly timed in the movie to things that he's seeing and experiencing, that he becomes the voice of the audience, because you're like, something absurd happens, you're like, what? And then that's kind of how he reacts. So I feel like it's got to be pretty aware of sort of the absurdity of the material and what its premise and the plot and the whatever. It's so stupid, it's good, and I enjoyed it. And I don't know. I don't know if it's not necessarily because of the mixture of things that are realistic or unrealistic or whatever, and it's a Christmas film, and it's in the trailer that Santa Claus is in the movie, so I don't think that's why it's so stupid. It's just it's almost even how they introduce you to things in the movie are just so absurd. But it doesn't matter because it's not trying to take itself seriously. And nobody watching it should take it seriously. You should just it's the popcorn meter or whatever, right? Like that's going to watch a G.I. Joe live action movie that is cheesy, but G.I. Joe was cheesy and it's fine.
Yeah, why the heck was the tomato meter on Violet Night so good?
That's amazing. So generally speaking, if you like action movies, go watch it because you're probably going to like it.
you know when you're in high school and like impressionable and you're kind of like looking around to your peers to see how they react to something. So something that you might think is either super cool or super dorky. It's that scene in the movie where the kid looks around first to see what everybody else is doing and they're like, yeah. No, I think it's cool too.
Yeah.
Like this, and I think I'm saying what you're saying, Dylan. Red One does such a good job of just like plowing full steam into the absurdity that I'm looking around going, this is crazy, right? And everybody else is leaned in loving it. So I'm like, all right. Like, I feel like they're self-aware in that they're full steam ahead with their premise and they don't even care that it's silly and over the top.
Good
And
for them.
they do that so well that it makes me just totally soak it all up and think all of it's awesome.
Yeah, it's unapologetically stupid, and it doesn't matter because there's going to be stuff that you're going to enjoy in it still, and it's fun.
With a few surprisingly touching moments at the end when The Rock's character, if you've seen it, you'll know what I mean, sees something in a new way for the first time. I look over 2 seats over to a mom, son, and daughter. The mom is weeping. At that last scene where he looks and sees something, and I'm just like, who thought that this movie would land and play with people's heartstrings? I was entertained. Kids loved it, or our son loved it. We took Case for his 10th birthday, and then for a few of those surprisingly touching moments. And I've got to say, The Rock's acting chops in this better than the body of his work in a lot of ways. I was just very impressed, like where he's getting really serious and being very heartfelt. I'm like, that's some solid acting right there. I like it. I'm gonna watch it every Christmas.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's like so far, and like I said, I'm not even into plot yet, right? And I'm 100% in setup, and just some of the visuals that I've already seen of like, I never thought of this that way. And I like what they did with it. It's one of those things where it's like, this is a new thing that I feel like I'm rooting for it to become one of my favorites. I feel like for whatever reason this season, like my soul is open to letting in new things be my favorite thing, relatively new things be my favorite thing. Like this year, for whatever reason, I can't get enough of the Merry Christmas song by Ed Sheeran and Elton John.
Yeah.
I love that song. It is now among my top 2-3 favorite Christmas songs.
Have you seen the music video?
I've not, actually.
You're going to like it even more when you see the music video.
Yeah.
I think.
So, I like the album art for it. It's cool.
Yeah. So, folks, if you haven't yet, either catch it in theaters if it happens to be playing near you, or stream it on Amazon Prime. Red One, it's a fun time. And what's his head got jacked? The Santa.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons got yoked for this movie.
I think he kind of has been for some other stuff. But either way, and it certainly tees up if they introduce enough other in-universe characters, they could easily make several more movies based on the simple premise of engaging the world that they're engaging. So they could totally do it, and it would be super simple. And I don't mean that like they left it open-ended in a way that's not satisfying, but they just made it so if they want to make more and this movie does well, they easily have a premise to do more movies. So
Red 2,
Red 2, Red 3. We're gonna get the Red 1 cinematic universe. So.
Yeah.
Well, I also checked out a movie that got a 71 on the tomato meter. I don't know that it deserved it. Gladiator 2. Saw that in theaters with my good buddy Matt. Ridley Scott is back. Denzel, Pedro Pascal. Not gonna tell you the connection to the first one if there is one. I had read a friend's review on social media. He mentioned, and this is spoiler free, it's not really a major plot device. He mentioned sharks with laser beams attached to their heads. I hoped he was joking and simply referencing Austin Powers. He was half correct. There were no laser beams, but they did fill up the bottom of the Colosseum and put sharks in there for one of the scenes for a battle sequence.
Yeah.
I had heard from my buddy that I was watching it with. He had just gotten back from Rome and said that when he was there, they did talk about the fact that they filled up the bottom of the Colosseum with water. No mention of sharks, but when Ridley Scott was asked, how could they have gotten sharks from the ocean and transported them? He's like, you weren't there, was his response to the interviewer. So he's not wrong.
The same aliens that built the pyramids.
That's exactly right.
That's how.
So Gladiator 2 is long. I was entertained most of the time. There are some pretty cool connections and references to the first. Not amazing, but check it out if you can. And then the last thing I watched streaming on Apple TV Plus, Wolves, with Brad Pitt and George Clooney. Both are cleaners, so they go in to cover up crime scenes at the behest of other people. And they show up to the same scene, each thinking that they're the only guy in the city that does this. And it's kind of a fun, I don't want to call it a buddy cop type of a vibe, but there is like a strong comedic element to a serious profession and setting. It was very entertaining. I recommend it. Let's see what Rotten Tomatoes says about Wolves. I kept asking Apple TV to pull up Wolves, and it's Wolves with an F. So Apple TV was struggling. Tomatoes, 67. Ooh, popcorn meter, though, is split down the middle at 50%. Half of you loved it, half of you hated it. So anyway, Wolves, Apple TV.
There you go. I talked a little while back about Skeleton Crew. Either of you watched any Skeleton Crew?
Not yet, but I'm hearing great things.
Reviews are going well. The general consensus, and it's not over yet, general consensus seems to be, it's on Disney Plus, new Star Wars project, that it feels very fun space adventure-y for the greater family, where things like Andor and maybe The Mandalorian might have felt more geared towards adults, and then some stuff feels more kiddie. This one seems to be entertaining everyone. So I'm still enjoying it. I'm curious to see how they wrap it up. But I also watched Nutcrackers, which is on Hulu, which is a new Christmas movie with Ben Stiller. And it takes place in Ohio. And it was partially filmed in Ohio and I think West Virginia, maybe some other places. So I talked not long ago about the greatest Christmas pageant ever, which was kind of a sweet, ragamuffin kids, and they go to church and be in the pageant and feel good. This it feels like a similar but a little darker. Ben Stiller's an uncle. 4 boys, both parents pass away. He goes back to try to basically just make sure that the kids go to a nice family, and he's sort of stuck with them for a little bit. And then the film progresses as he's kind of stuck with them. So there's also a show that those kids are putting on. And so it's funny that both of those movies came out within, a similar time frame this year, but also sweet. And if you want something new to watch this Christmas Eve that's mostly sweet and a little sad, check out Nutcrackers on Hulu.
Okay. Well, we are headed off to our Christmas festivities, but before that, Sherry and I take the kids at 3 a.m. on Friday morning to Disney. We are, in fact, doing the thing I talked about a few episodes back. We will travel back on Sherry's birthday, the 23rd, and we are hosting family on Christmas Eve. So it's going to be a frenzy, but we're stoked about it. So I'm kind of glad we're getting this one in the can, and I can dive headlong into that adventure. It's going to be a lot of driving, 2 full days at parks, a half day if you include the time we'll spend at Disney Springs, which we like, formerly Downtown Disney. The free part, the free Disney, that's what we call it. It's not free. You still pay for everything, but you don't pay admission. Do you guys have big Christmas plans or Christmas trips planned?
I think just kind of normal-ish from here on out. Like I've already done like 4 Christmas events or parties or whatever. We had uh, a cappella choir, a la Pentatonics kind of outfit, from Miami University,
Nice.
and we hosted them in our church. They've been going on an Ohio tour thing, and they came and played at our church a couple nights ago, and they were so good. That was
That's
delightful. So I got to run sound for that, and that was a good night. And so that was of the Christmas parties and things. That was probably my highlight was getting to see them.
That's awesome.
But nothing else from here until Christmas Eve, which is our normal Christmas Eve night thing, and then Christmas Day, and then we'll be doing a Christmas with my parents and sister and brother-in-law the following Saturday, and that'll be that. I'm going to a hockey game, going to a Blue Jackets game with Isaac on the 23rd, so that'll be fun. Looking forward to that.
Nice.
Yeah,
Can't wait to hear all about it when we get back
plays?
after this year.
Who's playing in the hockey game?
the Blue Jackets, and they are, boy, I forget who they're playing. Is it it might be the Canadiens, Montreal.
It's okay. I liked how you said Blue Jackets. It was a little bit of like Blue Jackets.
It is. It's the Canadian.
That's how a hockey guy says Blue Jackets.
It's the Blue Jackets.
It's the Canadians at 7 p.m.
You know, I've been doing my, I don't know if is it a Boston thing to like where like noise came from
Noise.
and things like, so like when I start talking about like pizza and stuff, like I just to be a weird dad.
Yeah. I don't think it's Boston. That feels more like a 90s thing.
Well, I mean, like guys who are like, yeah, you want a slice? You want a slice of pizza?
Oh,
like that kind of thing. I feel like that's probably where noise originated, was from that dialect, wherever that's from. So maybe it's New York. I'm not sure. But today I was talking to my kids about pizza, asking them if they want a slice instead of some pizza. Hey, you want a slice? And they're like, Dad, stop saying it like that. They're finally old enough that I can embarrass them, and I've been waiting for that. And so I finally was able to. I've always wanted to, in my mind's eye, embarrass a kid by, in a shopping situation, ask really loudly, hey, do you think they have any of those sweatpants with writing on the butt in my size? And I finally got a kid with that while Christmas shopping last week. So that was fun. Yeah. Anyway.
Dilly, how about you? Big Christmas plans?
And just to be clear, you want to know if we have big Christmas plans after you talked about going to Disney on a whim.
Why do you guys do this to me?
Right after you're like, do you have any? And use the word big plans. So
yeah.
We're going to Disney on a whim for fun, multiple days in the park. Disney's
yeah.
I mean, he's big plans.
He's self-medicating because he doesn't get to travel all the time for work anymore and hang out with his Manhattan friends.
Yeah, let me tell you about my big plans. We're gonna
tell me about your poor people plans. I want to hear what you plebeians do for Jesus's birthday at Taco.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the Christmas Eve service and then have communion at Taco Bell on the way home. That's what I'm gonna do. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna get Baja Blast mixed with their Sangria Blast. It'll be,
Jesus might be there.
Little window Jesus will be there to bless my food. It's going to be awesome. So that's what we're doing. I'm kidding. We don't have big plans. I wouldn't use the word big. We have nice plans. I'm excited. I'm excited to have a few days off work, not 4 months off work.
That felt like a Donald Trump. I wouldn't say big. We have nice plans. The plans are nice. Probably the nicest.
Nice. Lots of people saying I'm nice there.
I walked in and I said, wow, these plans are nice.
Yeah. Only the best plans. It's going to be nice. And I'm looking forward to some time at home and play some video games, watch some movies, spend time with family. It'll be nice. It'll be nice.
Not noise.
Not noise.
Not that nice.
I can't get away with that. I'm too old to use things like that and be confident at the same time. You
Yeah,
know
it's,
what I mean?
it's not about, well, I mean, confidence has something to do with it, but it's not about trying to be cool. It's about trying to be cringy on purpose.
Yeah, that's what's funny about the like young kids not understanding why parents are so cringy. They're not doing it to be cool. They're doing it to make you cringe.
Yeah.
They like seeing you uncomfortable because they don't care anymore. They don't care about whether they look cool. They want to see you squirm because you think they're trying to look cool. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there you go.
The internet says that it comes from multiple accents, but one source
Oh.
claims Australia. Nice.
Oh. I can
But it
hear
goes
that,
back to
yeah.
the days of Laurel and Hardy in the 1930s. So maybe it's like a spelling versus pronunciation thing, like spelled the same, pronounced different.
Mhm.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. Well, also Australia existed in the 1930s, so still a thing.
Still a thing.
Still a thing then.
Well, you guys enjoy your nice little plans. I'll be in the happiest place on earth. Building a lightsaber.
Yeah, the NFL athletes that make tens of millions of dollars a year and then win the Super Bowl. You're going where they go.
Yeah.
After they're at the pinnacle of their career, making as much money as they've ever made in their life, they say, "I'm going to Disney World." That's where you're going. Got it.
Yeah, it's
Two
like
things.
who was the comedian during the COVID lockdown that was like, I don't understand what people are complaining about. Staying at, just buy a bigger house.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's not that hard. If you're
Yeah.
sick of your tiny little home, just buy a bigger house.
That feels
Yeah.
like a Tom Segura joke. I don't know if that was him, but that feels like
I don't remember who that was.
I think it was actually David Spade or somebody like that.
David Spade. That's who it was.
Yeah. Anyway, two things. One, I have to do it while I still can. Two, we're doing it on the cheap. That's why we're driving and not flying. And that's why we're staying and cashing in all my Hilton points and not staying at a fancy Disney resort. We're doing it the last minute cost effective way. Anyway, doesn't matter. Excited to hear about how all your little plans go at Taco Bell. And so folks, again, you won't hear from us for 2 weeks. But we will still do a little something, not full episodes. I mean, we'll still do a little something or like, hey, how are you? Have a wonderful Christmas. Dylan might sing again, for you. Didn't we do that one? We tried to just sing in serious voices.
Did we?
Something like that.
We
need
might
to do
have.
something. We'll think of something clever, but it'll be
Dylan's
short.
going to sing. Yeah.
Dylan's going to sing. And thank you for listening. We love you. I hope you've enjoyed, From the Middle 2024. We're excited to keep doing this and see what next year holds. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. We love you. Thanks for listening. Be kind to each other. Thank you, Artius Man, for your sponsorship. If you still want to grab some stuff from there, artiusman.com for all your men's grooming needs. Use promo code The Middle at checkout to get 25% off of your first order. And then check out our merch on TeePublic. Links for both of those sites and promo codes are in the description below. Chat with you guys next year.
Peace.